There are 6 sentences that can end a relationship faster than betrayal. 6 phrases that don't just hurt. They reveal. Because sometimes it's not the lies that destroy you. It's the truth that slips out by accident. One sentence, one tone, and suddenly, everything you thought was love starts to sound like control. I've seen it happen. A man sitting across from me, eyes empty, saying, "I don't even recognize myself anymore." And when I ask what changed, it always starts the same way. Not with cheating, not with violence, but with words. That's the part nobody tells you. Emotional destruction doesn't always come with shouting or broken glass. Sometimes it comes wrapped in a sweet voice saying, "You owe me," or, "If you loved me, you would." They sound small, but they are relationship death sentence disguised as love, care, or confidence. And if you're a man who's ever stayed too long, hoping things would get better, this is your warning. Because when someone tells you who they are through their words, you don't negotiate with it. You don't explain it away. You believe them. These aren't red flags. They're exit signs. Now, before we go further, let me be clear. This isn't about blaming women or starting a gender war. It's about truth. It's about learning to see language as evidence, the kind that exposes what love should never sound like. Because real love doesn't need to be proven. It doesn't guilt you, test you, or drain you dry. It builds peace, not fear. So today, we're going to break down 6 phrases, 6 lines that look harmless on the surface, but underneath, they're the reason good men lose themselves. And once you hear them, you'll never unhear them again. The first phrase that should make every man stop in his tracks is this: "You owe me." Not "Can you help me?" Not "I need you." But "You owe me." That sentence kills love faster than betrayal ever could, because it changes everything from partnership to transaction, from affection to accounting. Love stops being a gift and becomes a bill. I once worked with a man whose partner said it constantly: "You owe me a better life. You owe me because I stayed with you. You owe me happiness." And every time she said it, something in him shut down. He wasn't a husband anymore. He was a debtor. And the interest rate was his peace of mind. Here's what makes this phrase so toxic: it's never mutual. The person who says "you owe me" never asks what they owe you. It's a one-way credit line where your time, money, and energy are endlessly withdrawn, but never repaid. You work hard. You owe them comfort. You take a break. You owe them more attention. You exist. You owe them joy. That's not love. That's emotional taxation. It's like living with a loan shark who smiles when you pay up and sneers when you can't. When someone says "you owe me," what they're really saying is, "I don't love you. I love what you provide." They're not connecting with your heart. They're cashing in on it. And no matter how much you give, it'll never be enough. Because entitlement isn't a hole you can fill. It's a void that eats everything and thanks you for the meal. The second phrase that should stop you cold is this: "I don't owe you anything." At first, it sounds like confidence, like boundaries. But listen closer, because in some mouths, that line isn't about freedom. It's about disconnection. There's a difference between saying "I need space" and "you don't matter." And this phrase, when used with venom, means exactly that. You don't matter. It's the anthem of someone who wants the perks of partnership without the accountability that comes with it. They'll take your loyalty, your time, your effort. But the moment you ask for something: respect, transparency, basic decency, suddenly, you're controlling, you're toxic. Because in their mind, love is a one-way street. I've seen it over and over. A man works 2 jobs to support his partner's lifestyle. He asks her to stop flirting with other men online. She says, "You're not my owner. I don't owe you anything." Translation: your effort is expected. Your boundaries are optional. That's not empowerment. That's emotional freeloading dressing. Selfishness up as independence. Healthy independence says, I'm responsible for my happiness, and you are too. Toxic independence says, I'll take everything you give and still claim I owe you nothing. So when you hear it, believe it. What they're telling you is simple. They don't see partnership. They see permission. They don't want connection. They want convenience. And if you stay, they'll keep both your effort and their excuses. The third phrase that should make you step back isn't just a red flag. It's a worldview. All men are trash. Now, that line gets thrown around like it's harmless. A joke, a meme. But it's not a joke when you're dating someone who actually believes it. Because when a woman says all men are trash, what she's really saying is, you've already been convicted before you've even done anything. You're not starting a relationship. You're walking into a trial where the verdict's already printed. No matter what you do, you'll never pass the test. Show emotion. See, men are weak. Stay quiet. Men never open up. Work hard. Typical man married to his job. Forget something small. Of course, all men are careless. You can't win a game that's rigged against you, because this isn't about you. It's about her history. She's not loving the person in front of her. She's fighting the ghosts of her past. And she's using you as the next exhibit in her case file labeled proof that men disappoint. I've seen men waste years trying to change that story, trying to be the one who proves her wrong. But you can't rewrite someone else's trauma script when they've built their entire identity around being the victim. When someone's addicted to pain, even kindness feels suspicious. So if she says, all men are trash, she's telling you she's not here to love, she's here to collect evidence. Evidence that will justify her bitterness, confirm her fears, and eventually destroy your peace. Because if all men are trash, then she never has to take responsibility for what she chooses. The problem isn't her past. It's that she's still living there and she'll drag you in with her. Don't try to fix that. Don't try to prove your purity to someone who's already made up her mind. You can't heal where you're constantly being accused. Walk away, not out of anger, but out of self-respect. The fourth phrase that looks innocent but cuts deep. I'm just a girl. Or its cousin. That's just how women are. On the surface, it sounds soft, harmless, playful. But underneath, it's weaponized helplessness. It's what happens when someone discovers that playing small lets them get away with big things. Forget the rent money. I'm just bad with numbers. Start a fight in public. Sorry, I'm emotional. Make a terrible decision. Well, you know how women are. Every time it's used, it's not an apology, it's a permission slip. Because when you call yourself a girl at 35, you're not being cute. You're avoiding accountability. You're saying, I don't have to grow up because society taught you to protect me. And guess what? Manipulators know exactly how to cash in on that instinct. They know men are wired to protect, to fix, to forgive. So they play the helpless role when it benefits them and the independent woman role when it doesn't. When it's time to take responsibility, she's fragile. When it's time to take advantage, she's fierce. It's not vulnerability, it's strategy. I've seen men lose themselves trying to rescue someone who never wanted to be rescued, just exempted. Because if she can claim I'm just a girl, then nothing is ever really her fault. But here's the truth, being feminine isn't the problem. Refusing accountability is. True strength doesn't hide behind gender. It faces the mess, owns the choices, and grows from them. So when you hear, I'm just a girl, remember, it's not a confession, it's a warning. The fifth phrase sounds romantic on the surface, but underneath it's pure poison. If you loved me, you would. That line is emotional blackmail with lipstick on. It's the moment love stops being love and turns into a test you'll never pass. Because the second someone says, "If you loved me," what they're really saying is, "Prove it." Again, buy me that bag, cancel your plans, cut off your friends, hand over your phone. Every demand is wrapped in the same lie that love equals compliance. But real love doesn't sound like that. Real love says, "I trust you, I appreciate you, not obey me." I've seen men bankrupt their finances, abandon their families, even sell pieces of their past just to prove they're enough. One man I counseled sold his father's watch a piece of history because she said, "If you loved me, you'd prioritize us over that old memory." 6 months later, she left him for someone with more money. The watch was gone. The money was gone. But the lesson? Priceless. Here's what most people miss. This phrase isn't about affection. It's about control. It's not a plea. It's a power move. It creates a lose-lose trap. Comply and lose yourself, or refuse and be labeled unloving. And that's the trick, because when someone uses love as leverage, you'll always be in debt. The truth is, anyone who weaponizes love never truly understood it. Love doesn't demand proof. It doesn't test, track, or trade. It trusts. So the next time someone says, "If you loved me, you would," remember, love doesn't sound like a threat. It sounds like freedom. And then there's the final phrase, the one that ends more relationships than cheating ever will. Just leave. Then, it sounds simple, but it's not. It's a loaded gun disguised as a sentence. People don't usually start here. They start with sighs, sarcasm, and silent treatment. And then, one day, out of habit or arrogance, they drop it. If you don't like it, you can leave. What they don't realize is one day, son, you actually will. Because just leave isn't a challenge. It's emotional extortion. It's saying, "Do what I want, or I'll make you fear losing me." It's not communication, it's control. I worked with a couple like that once. Every argument ended with her saying, "If you're so unhappy, walk out that door." And every time, he'd stay apologizing for wanting to be heard, begging to fix what she never intended to fix. Until one night, he didn't argue. He stood up, packed his bag, and said, "Okay." The silence that followed wasn't victory, it was realization. Because control only works as long as you fear leaving. Here's the truth: anyone who throws "just leave" around casually has already left the relationship emotionally. They're not fighting for connection. They're gambling for dominance. They'd rather win the argument than save the bond. But what they never expect is for you to call the bluff. So when someone says, "Just leave then," don't beg, don't prove, don't explain. Do exactly what they told you to do. Walk out. Not to hurt them, but to heal yourself. Because the moment you stop chasing the person who holds love hostage, you stop living in fear. And that's when peace finally walks in. Now let's talk about why these phrases are so dangerous. Because they don't start as bombs. They start as whispers. Nobody walks into a relationship saying, "You owe me," or "Just leave." It begins smaller. Hints, jokes, little digs wrapped in affection. Then, little by little, you stop reacting. You start rationalizing. You tell yourself, "They were just upset. It's not that bad." And by the time the words turn cruel, you've already been trained to tolerate them. That's how manipulation works. It's not one big explosion, it's a slow burn. You don't even feel the fire until everything in you smells like smoke. And here's what makes it even more destructive: the cycle isn't constant. Between the insults come the good days, the apologies, the sweet moments that make you think. See, they do love me. That's not love. That's intermittent reinforcement, a psychological trick that addicts you to inconsistency. You start chasing the highs, surviving the lows, and mistaking both for passion. But the most brutal part. These phrases don't just attack your emotions. They reprogram your identity. Your desire to provide becomes proof of their control. Your forgiveness becomes their permission. Your loyalty becomes their leverage. Everything good in you gets weaponized against you, and society doesn't help. Movies call it romantic tension. Social media calls it standards. Friends call it just how relationships are. And before you realize it, toxicity has been renamed normal. But it's not normal to live like that. It's not normal to walk on eggshells around someone you love. It's not normal to confuse control with care. You've just been conditioned to call dysfunction chemistry. The truth is simple. These phrases are dangerous not because they're loud, but because they're believable. They sound logical, emotional, even loving. But underneath every word is the same message. You're not equal here, and any relationship that survives on inequality isn't love, it's ownership. So, what does healthy love actually sound like? Because once you've seen what's toxic, you need to know what safe feels like again. Healthy partners don't make you guess. They don't use words like weapons. They speak from clarity, not control. Instead of "you owe me," they say, "I'd really appreciate it if you could." Instead of "I don't owe you anything," they say, "I need a little space, but I still care." Instead of "all men are trash," they say, "I've been hurt before, and I'm still learning to trust." That's what emotional maturity sounds like: truth without cruelty. Boundaries without punishment. Healthy communication isn't about who wins the argument. It's about protecting the connection. It's not about scoring points. It's about staying on the same team. A healthy partner doesn't see you as a provider or protector. They see you as a person. They don't hide behind gender roles, excuses, or manipulation. They show up, even when it's uncomfortable. They take responsibility for what they say and do. They don't say, "That's just how I am." They say, "I was wrong. Let's make it better." Because accountability isn't weakness, it's intimacy. And love, real love, doesn't sound like testing, threats, or ultimatums. It sounds like "I trust you. I value you. I want to understand." It doesn't demand constant proof. It builds consistent peace. So if you ever find yourself asking, "Is this what love is supposed to feel like?" the answer is simple. If you're always anxious, confused, or exhausted, it's not love. Healthy love doesn't drain you. It steadies you. It grounds you. It makes you breathe easier, not hold your breath. Here's the part nobody wants to talk about: the cost of staying. Because toxic love doesn't destroy you overnight. It erodes you, piece by piece, until you don't recognize yourself. You stop speaking up because it's never the right time. You stop having opinions because every opinion starts a fight. You stop smiling without thinking, because even happiness feels suspicious now. You start apologizing for existing, for being tired, for being quiet, for needing peace. You start managing their moods instead of your own. You start shrinking your world so they won't feel threatened by it. And one day, you wake up realizing you haven't been in love for a long time. You've just been in survival. That's what emotional abuse does. It doesn't break you in half. It bends you until you forget you were ever straight. You start believing that peace is boring, that chaos means passion, that being chosen matters more than being respected. I've seen confident men turn into ghosts of themselves. Men who used to lead, now asking for permission to breathe. Men who used to dream, now walking on eggshells inside their own homes. Because when you're constantly told you're not enough, eventually, you start believing it. The saddest part, it never ends with a dramatic explosion. It ends quietly. You just fade. You become a background character in your own story. And the world keeps clapping because from the outside, it still looks like love. But inside, it feels like dying slowly with a smile on your face. That's the real cost of staying, not the fights, not the tears, not the years you lose. It's the version of you that never comes back. But here's the beautiful thing about pain if you let it. It wakes you up. There comes a day when you finally stop trying to be understood and start trying to be free. You stop waiting for apologies that will never come. You stop chasing someone who keeps moving the finish line. And for the first time in a long time, you exhale. That's the day everything shifts. The world doesn't change. You do. You start remembering who you were before you started shrinking. You laugh without checking if it's okay. You say no without explaining why. You walk into silence and realize it's not loneliness. It's peace. You rebuild the parts of yourself that got buried under compromise. You pick up the hobbies you abandoned to make room for someone else's ego. You reconnect with friends who saw you disappear. You remember what it feels like to be proud of yourself again. Leaving doesn't destroy you. Staying does. And when you finally choose yourself, you'll understand that being alone isn't the absence of love. It's the presence of self-respect. Because freedom doesn't come with applause. It comes with quiet mornings, with peace that doesn't need permission, with the silence that feels like coming home. That's the real rebirth. Not finding someone new, but finding the version of you that stopped believing you mattered. And when that version stands back up, you don't chase anymore. You attract. You don't beg for love. You become love. We need to talk about something bigger than heartbreak, because this isn't just about one relationship. It's about a culture that taught us to call dysfunction romance. We've been fed lies since childhood. Movies told us that jealousy is love. Sitcoms turned manipulation into punchlines. Social media dressed toxicity up as standards. And we kept repeating the same patterns, confusing pain for passion and control for care. Men were told, real love means tolerating everything. Women were told, you deserve everything no matter what you give. And somewhere in the middle, respect disappeared. That's why those 6 phrases spread so easily. Because we normalized them. We called them sassy. We called them strong. We called them funny. But they weren't any of those things. They were warning signs dressed in confidence. And here's the truth. No one likes to admit when we excuse manipulation as just how relationships are. We teach the next generation to do the same. Your sons learn to shrink. Your daughters learn to dominate. And nobody learns to communicate. That's why breaking this cycle isn't just personal, it's cultural. It's refusing to clap for behavior that destroys connection. It's unlearning everything that told us power is love. It's teaching that respect is the minimum, not the reward. Because real strength in men, in women, in anyone, isn't about control. It's about accountability. It's the courage to say, I was wrong. It hurt you. I'll do better. We don't need louder opinions. We need quieter integrity. We need fewer people performing confidence and more people practicing compassion. The healing starts when we stop making excuses. Their past doesn't justify it. Their stress doesn't excuse it. Their gender doesn't give them a pass. There's no version of love where disrespect is acceptable. None. So maybe the revolution isn't about hating the other side. Maybe it's about finally demanding better from all of us. Words matter. They reveal character, not emotion. Every. You owe me. Every. Just leave then. Isn't random anger. It's truth slipping out through the cracks. Believe it the first time. Because staying where your worth is questioned teaches your soul to settle for less. And love that demands your silence isn't love, it's captivity. You don't have to prove you're enough. You don't have to beg to be seen. The right person won't make you audition for peace. Leaving isn't weakness. It's remembering who you were before you forgot your worth. It's reclaiming the parts of you that stopped breathing just to keep the relationship alive. So when you hear those 6 phrases again, take them as a gift, not a wound. It's life's way of whispering, "This isn't love. This is your exit." Don't argue. Don't explain. Walk away. Because silence is stronger than begging. Absence is louder than reason. And self-respect. That's the only proof of love you'll ever need. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you heard these words before? What did they teach you about love? About yourself? Share your story, because somewhere out there, someone needs your voice to find their strength. Thank you for watching. If this message hit you, don't just scroll away. Subscribe, dive deeper into our content, and start building the mindset that puts you back in control. Drop a comment below. What's the biggest struggle you want us to break down next? Let's build a brotherhood of men who rise above confusion and reclaim their power. See you in the next video.